Hey guys, in today's video I just wanted to talk about one of the major milestones that I've had in my life when it comes to sobriety, because over 3 years, 2 months and 16 days ago I made one of the best decisions for my health, and that was to quit cigarettes, tobacco and nicotine altogether. I just went cold turkey. And to be honest, this is probably one of the hardest substances that I have had to remove from my life. And I've dabbled in a lot of substance abuse throughout my years, but to be honest, the grasp and the clutch that nicotine had on me was insane. Smoking from 15 years old all the way till, when did I quit again? Like 3 years ago. So 15 to like maybe 24, I was hooked and I was under nicotine. I was in nicotine's grip. And it took me countless attempts to quit. I don't even know how many, probably over like 1,000 plus, to be honest, like saying, oh, I'm gonna quit, and then I smoke a cigarette the same day or I smoke a cigarette the next day. It took me so many attempts, but throughout all those years, I kept on wanting to quit. I kept on trying, and then eventually this last attempt of 3 years, 2 months stuck. I think I've had one prior stint of like 1+ years, but then when COVID happened and lockdown happened, I started smoking cigarettes again, because man, that was a stressful time period of my life that I don't even want to delve into. But yeah, COVID was not good for me, and the lockdown was not good for me, which is ironic because I had so much free time then. If I had just used it more mindfully, it could have been a completely different experience for me. But you live and you learn, and I just wanted to share this video. And I wanted to read a passage from the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because I've actually been rereading it currently. Because this is a book that I've mentioned in my previous sobriety videos, if you've watched this channel before, like my alcohol sobriety and my cannabis sobriety. But we won't be talking about this video. We're just going to be talking about nicotine and me quitting that for over 3 years now. And then I'm also over 500 days alcohol free, so that is great. And I'm also like 3 weeks off the benzos, but almost 3 weeks off the benzos. But I'm feeling a lot better, and yeah, I just want to read a passage from, I think this is chapter 2, Happiness is a Problem, and it's Choose Your Struggle. So, if I ask you, what do you want out of life? And you say something like, I want to be happy and have a great family and a job I like. Your response is so common and expected that it doesn't really mean anything. Everybody enjoys what feels good. Everybody wants to live a carefree, happy, and easy life, to fall in love and have amazing sex and relationships, to look perfect and make money and be popular and well-respected and admired and a total baller to the point that people part like the Red Sea when they walk into the room. Everybody wants that. It's easy to want that. A more interesting question, a question that most people never consider, is, what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for? Because that seems to be a greater determinant of how our lives turn out. For example, most people want to get the corner office and make a boatload of money, but not many people want to suffer through 60-hour work weeks, long commutes, obnoxious paperwork, and arbitrary corporate hierarchies to escape the confines of an infinite cubicle hell. Most people want to have great sex and an awesome relationship, but not everyone is willing to go through the tough conversations, the awkward silences, the hurt feelings, and the emotional psychodrama to get there. And so they settle. They settle and wonder, what if? For years and years, until the question morphs from what if into what else. And when the lawyers go home and the alimony check is in the mail, they say, what for? If not for their lowered standards and expectations 20 years prior, then what for? Because happiness requires struggle. It grows from problems. Joy doesn't just sprout out of the ground like daisies and rainbows. Real, serious, lifelong fulfillment and meaning have to be earned through choosing and managing of our struggles. Whether you suffer from anxiety or loneliness or obsessive-compulsive disorder or a dickhead boss who ruins half your waking hours every day, the solution lies in the acceptance and active engagement that negative experience, not the avoidance of it, not the salvation from it. People want an amazing physique, but you don't end up with one unless you legitimately appreciate the pain and physical stress that come with living inside a gym for hour upon hour. Unless you love calculating and calibrating the food you eat, planning your life out in tiny plate-sized portions. People want to start their own business, but you don't end up a successful entrepreneur unless you find a way to appreciate the risk, the uncertainty, the repeated failures, and the insane hours devoted to something that may earn absolutely nothing. I just need to drink some water, guys, sorry. I'm gonna keep this in the video, but my lips and my mouth is feeling a little bit dry. I just got back from the gym from a leg workout. Man, leg day is insane. I have skinny legs, but we're gonna be working on it. Where were we? People want a partner, a spouse, but you don't end up attracting someone amazing without appreciating the emotional turbulence that comes with weathering rejections, building the sexual tension that never gets released, and staring blankly at the phone that never rings. It's part of the game of love. You can't win if you don't play. What determines your success, what determines your success isn't what do you want to enjoy. The relevant question is, what pain do you want to sustain? The path to happiness is a path full of shit heaps and shame. You have to choose something. You can't have a pain-free life. It can't be all roses and unicorns all the time. Pleasure is the easy question, and pretty much all of us have a similar answer. The more interesting question is the pain. What is the pain you want to sustain? That's the hard question that matters. The question that will actually get you somewhere. It's a question that can change a perspective, a life. It's what makes me, me, and what makes you, you. It's what defines us and separates us, and ultimately brings us together. For most of my adolescence and young adulthood, I fantasized about being a musician, a rock star in particular. Any badass guitar song I heard, I would always close my eyes and envision myself up on stage, playing into the screams of the crowd, people absolutely losing their minds to my sweet finger noodling glory. This fantasy could keep me occupied for hours on end. For me, it was never a question of if I'd ever be up playing in front of screaming crowds, but when. I had it all planned out. I was simply biding my time before I could invest the proper amount of energy and effort into getting out there and making my mark. First, I needed to finish school. Then I needed to make some extra money to buy gear. Then I needed to find free time to practice. Then I had to network and plan my first project. Then nothing. Despite my fantasizing about this for over half my lifetime, the reality never came to fruition. And it took me a long time and a lot of struggle to finally figure out why I didn't actually want it. I was in love with the result, the image of me on stage, people cheering, me rocking out, pouring my heart out into what I was playing, but I wasn't in love with the process. And because of that, I failed at it. Repeatedly. Hell, I didn't even try hard enough to fail at it. I hardly tried at all. The daily drudgery of practicing, the logistics of finding a group and rehearsing, the pain of finding gigs and actually getting people to show up and give a shit, the broken strings, the blown tube amp, hauling 40 pounds of gear to and from rehearsals with no car. It's a mountain of a dream and a mile-high climb to the top. And what it took me a long time to discover is that I didn't like to climb much. I just like to imagine the summit. The common cultural narratives would tell me that I somehow failed myself, that I'm a quitter or a loser, that I just didn't have it, that I gave up on my dream, and that maybe I let myself succumb to the pleasures of society. But the truth is far less interesting than any of these explanations. The truth is, I thought I wanted something, but it turns out I didn't. End of story. I wanted the reward and not the struggle. I wanted the result and not the process. I was in love with not the fight, but only the victory. And life doesn't work that way. Who you are is defined by what you're willing to struggle for. People who enjoy the struggles of a gym are the ones who run triathlons and have chiseled abs and can bench press a small house. People who enjoy long work weeks and the politics of the corporate ladder are the ones who fly to the top of it. People who enjoy the stresses and uncertainties of the starving artist lifestyle are ultimately the ones who live and make it. This is not about willpower or grit. This is another admonishment of no pain, no gain. This is the most simple and basic component of life. Our struggles determine our successes. Our problems birth our happiness. along with slightly better, slightly upgraded problems. See, it's a never-ending upward spiral, and if you think at any point you're allowed to stop climbing, I'm afraid you're missing the point, because the joy is in the climb itself. And how I want to tie that to addiction is letting go of a substance is never easy, right? Especially if you're an addict. But I think you have to ask yourself the bigger question here. What are you willing to struggle for? Are you willing to embrace a momentary time period of discomfort and then have your life be the better for it? Or do you want to keep on indulging in toxic behaviors and toxic habits because they're your coping mechanisms, but in the end, it just leaves you worse off than if you were to take the hard route of going for sobriety? And this can also apply to any area in your life, right? You have to choose your struggle. Are you content with your life right now, or do you want something more out of it? Because if you want something more out of it, then it's really up to you to do the work and take the action to go for it, right? And if you think you're not capable, then I think you're just having self-imposed limiting beliefs. I mean, maybe certain things like maybe I'm not going to become a professional athlete or something like that, right? But yeah, I just want to read a passage from this book. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just want to read a passage from that book and say that I'm 3 years nicotine-free, tobacco-free. I'm going to hit 3 years of alcohol sobriety as well, for sure, because I really have no I really have no inkling to drink again, and then we are off the benzos. So, yeah. Anyways, this was just another unscripted video of me talking, so I hope you found some value in it. I don't know if you did, but yeah, I'll have some scripted videos in the future, I guess. I'm not sure exactly when, but to end the video, I'm gonna show you guys some sheep.